Everybody, it is April the 22nd. We're going to dive into the last of the webinar series. Let's just go ahead and close our eyes for a few minutes. And once the eyes close, just see if you can actually hear your breath. And just breathe. Just deep breath in and long breath out. Take a slow breath in and a quiet breath out. Just keep breathing. Bringing yourself, bringing your body, and bringing the awareness into the now. Once you're a little bit more in the now, perhaps see if you can slow down the breathing. Perhaps see if you can slow down the mind. And just keep breathing. Feeling your belly rise and fall with each inhale and exhale. Invite a bit of stillness to enter. Bring in your guides, your divine support team, your angels, your ancestors. As you breathe. Staying here in the quiet of the now. And really settling in to what this feels like right now. Belly rises and belly falls. If I invite you to imagine, sense, see, or feel, all you have is right now. What do you experience? And see if you can surrender into all I have is right now. Beautiful. Take 4 or 5 more breaths. All I have is right now. And then at your own pace, starting to very slowly return. When you're ready, coming back to the brighter room. So we're going to be doing a lot of the chat box thing that I did in the last class. So perhaps share, what did you experience in that meditation? How was that for you? What did you experience? Give you guys a minute to type in. How was it if all you have is right now? What were the emotions? What were the sensations? Elevating. Nice, Haley. Yeah. in the right now. We've got some peace and some expansion. I noticed I had some thoughts, right, students, about work. Then I returned to the present. Beautiful. Amazing. So we're going to use that moment right now throughout today's webinar. And like I have every week, I have a webinar, a series set up, calming and soft throat check. Nice. Okay. So let me pull up the PowerPoint and we'll have some fun. We'll see what happens. So same as last time, we've got the first 4 or 5 slides that are repeated, and then we'll jump into the good stuff. Okay, go. Let's get okay, perfect. So y'all know about me, so I'm actually going to skip that. I'm going to skip that first slide, and I might skip the second slide. I'll see. Let's see. Okay, cool. So, okay, a bit about the structure. I'm going to skip this too, since most of you guys know this. I'm going to skip these first few slides if you don't mind. I'm just going to jump forward because the actual content of what I've got set up is a lot. So I'm going to skip these first bunch. These ones you saw last time, testimonials. Okay, so let's start with this one. The first webinar we went over the overview of the WESTI process. And just a quick reminder of what that was, is to become the witness or the observer, become aware of what you're feeling and your emotions, tap into what the stories that originated it were, the tools and techniques to shift out of that are, and stepping into the I am. That's what we did the first week. And then the second week, we talked a lot about what's called the victim triangle. And the victim triangle, we did, victim, bully, hero. We did a lot of that. Last class, we're going to do, last week we did holy versus special relationships. This week, we're diving into projection, perception, and extension. So we have a doozy today, okay, which is why I need more time. And then if you want to take this conversation further, I have Wounds to Wisdom starting in May. And I can tell you to have a slide of this at the end. You may or may not know this, but whenever I launch a class, I live the workshop beforehand. So for example, I have the Intuition Weekend coming up this weekend. I've been living that for a while, but I've taught Intuition 10 workshops, weekends in the last number of years. So I'm used to that. Wounds to Wisdom is taking me on a doozy ride. That's all I can tell you, in a good way, in a really good way. Hard. It's been challenging the last few weeks, but it's also been really beautiful. So, because what I experience is actually what the clients are going to experience. So I have to live the workshop in every relationship of my life so that I can be prepped to teach it. That's kind of how, when you do this type of work, happens. Your life becomes your work. Since we started a few weeks ago, this first one is for you to reflect. What have you learned so far? So use the chat box. I've learned nothing. What have you learned so far? You might remember from last week, we did a holy special. So use the chat box. What have you learned so far? Just share on this. We talked about the victim triangle. What have been your take homes since we started this webinar series? So chat box crazy list today. And the reason I asked you guys to share in the chat box is because anything that you write down is getting stronger in your mind. So what have you learned so far? Give you guys a few minutes. And I will pray that you write something down. We got somebody's typing something out. Thank God. Okay, to be the observer. Thanks, Presley. The holy relationship is the key. Special is the ego. We want holy. Perfect. And it's this gradual process, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Amazing. Okay, let us dive into, because I'm testing. I'm asking you from weeks ago what you learned. We've got another answer come in. Okay. Approach relationships by asking guide spirit, what do you want me to see? Beautiful. Nice, Jude. It's really good. Really good. We'll be doing a lot of that this weekend. So good. Okay. So let us dive more into today's, because I've got like a 7-step process. So we've got some more to do. All right. Since we started, we already did that. Okay. Let's go. So we're talking about extension, projection, perception, and judgment. That's what I've got planned for myself today. And I love what Deborah wrote. It only takes one person to be in a special relationship. Exactly. So the primary problems when it comes to understanding these concepts of extent, because I'm going to teach them in a second, and they're actually quite innate to our beingness. But the primary problem as to why we have difficulty actually practicing it is because since the day that you were conceived, You saw yourself as a body. Since the day you came into this planet, you saw yourself as a body. And if you're a body, you're really busy trying to prove your worth, get validation, be noticed, survive, raise kids, etc., etc. We have defense walls. I got to protect this body. I got to be right. So one of the reasons, as much as when I teach this, I taught a little bit about it in school class yesterday, the day before. It's very innate, but why it's hard to practice is because we have a nervous system and we see ourselves as a body. Okay, and we're going to spend more time on that as we get going. And that is the ultimate lie. The ultimate lie is that we're this body. Okay, that's the ultimate lie, is that you're this body. Okay, and Jude, I'm going to grab your question in a second. The ultimate lie is that you're this body, and because of that orientation, the orientation from the body perspective only creates pain. When we orient ourselves into spirit, that's when possibility and joy lies. Okay, so the lie being in the body is what keeps us in pain. And the reason it takes time to actually apply the concepts of extension, projection, so on, is it's partly why I teach as much as I do, because it takes time to apply it. And the reason Wounds to Wisdom is 8 weeks and only 8 people is because it's going to take us a while to get these concepts into your body and out of your mind. So I need a smaller group so I can really hone into these topics, because I've been in it for the last couple months. I've been in it, and I teach this work for a living. And I was in it with a capital INIT yesterday. All day I was in it. And I do this for a living, and I was in it. So I was in the blender yesterday. Okay. So even though I teach this for a living, so I know this stuff inside and out, the application between the knowing and the actual practicing is why Wounds to Wisdom is so deep and so long, because I know it's going to be a big one. So the reason that we struggle is we have the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the mouth. These 5 senses are the ego's friends. Got it? And if we're only going to perceive through these senses, we're screwed, because then we're only perceiving through the ego. Got it? That's the problem. So in order to make a mental rewire, it's going to take time and it's going to take dedication. The dedication is the hardest part, because the ego is convinced of its story from before this lifetime even. Okay. So the ego is going to try to convince you that it just is. And the ego is also going to convince you that the only way to survive is through projection. And I'm going to define that in a second. So, and if your current relationship status is working, amazing. And if it's not, you want to take a deeper dive into living differently. That's the thing. If it's working, you probably aren't here. But if it's not working, it's why you're here. Okay, so let's go. Let's first define extension. Extension comes from love. It's how the Holy Spirit operates through us. Extension is the natural movement of love outwards. It's how God created us and how we are meant to be. It's how we are meant to create in a spiritual sense. Extension is of the Holy Spirit, and it's a natural movement of love through these physical bodies outwards, but it's not us. Extension is the Holy Spirit doing their work through us. Extension is where we share love and peace and joy and forgiveness. Extension is when, oh, weird, people are having trouble getting on. Okay, thank you for letting me know, Nina. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. Extension, maybe it's a big topic, so I'm not surprised, Nina. It's a big one. I was writing up my slides, I'm like, oh, Divi, really had to pick this topic? I didn't pick it. All right, this extension is when we share love, peace, joy, and forgiveness. Extension is when we remember our oneness with others. Extension is when I don't see myself any differently than Chuck. He's a male, different age group than me. I don't see myself different than Presley, who's a woman who lives up north. I don't see myself different as Deborah, who lives in, extension is when Holy Spirit comes through me and I see Holy Spirit in Jude's. Extension is when I share love, share peace, share joy, share forgiveness. Extension is when I remember the oneness with others. Extension affirms the truth that I am with spirit, and it heals the mind and undoes the ego. It is an effortless flow when we're aligned with spirit. Extension says love is what I am, and I share it because I know it's unlimited. Because in our society, we think that if I give $20 to Chuck, I'll have $20 left. And that's not the case. Extension is I have unlimited money. And here it goes. Like a divine river. Really well said, Haley. Really, really well said. It gets bigger as I give it. It gets bigger as I give it. It gets bigger as I give it. So the more I connect with unconditional love, the bigger it gets. Got it? And the mistake that people make with extension is they think it's them. I'm extending my love to Presley. Bullshit. It's Holy Spirit's love to Presley because I see Presley as Divi and Divi as Presley. And it's that oneness that's required to practice extension. And especially in the retreats, because I'm hanging out with the three of you guys who I can see on my computer right now. In retreats, law of one is like right away. You really start to see, oh my God, I've got the same thing as them. Oh my God, I've got the same as that. But we're not in retreats and just living life like two bodies walking around the world, walking into walls. We think we're separate. So extension affirms the effortless flow of love. And the more effortlessly I flow it, the more love exists. And affirms the truth and it undoes the ego. Okay. That's extension. I'm always extending God now. Do I not necessarily try, but am I aware that it's always there? The key for extension is to be aware that Holy Spirit hears her all the time and to not to see myself as a body, but to see myself constantly connecting with Holy Spirit, constantly. So again, it's not you. It's not the ego. It's not Divi loving Judes. It's Holy Spirit connected to Divi, connected to Judes, connected to Holy Spirit. Got it? It's not my body. It's not anything I do. Sorry, you guys who I love you. It's all Holy Spirit extension. And to do that all day, every day, is to rest in peace and love and joy and freedom. And guess what? I'm not figuring anything out. Ever. I'm not. Why did she say that to me? Why am I being triggered? I'm just in love and in peace and in joy. Got it? So that's extension. Okay. So we're going to practice this. And we did a little bit, I think, yesterday, but you know me and my memory, it ain't that good. So let's do this practice. All right. So, okay, let us do this. So what I'm going to get you all to do is I want you all to close your eyes and take 20 or 30 breaths. 20, 30, 40, 100 slow, deep breaths. And if you can turn your camera on, that will help for this exercise. Do you have to? No, but it'll help a lot. So with your eyes closed, just breathe. And bring in Holy Spirit. Place Holy Spirit next to your right shoulder. Place Holy Spirit above your head. Place Holy Spirit next to your heart. Now, some of you I've known for a long time, I'm going to push you harder, like the Haleys and the Ninas of the world, Chucks of the world. Judes, I'm going to push you too. Try to see no difference between you and that energy. There's nowhere where Holy Spirit starts and stops. See the continuum of energy from Holy Spirit into your body through you. So it's not separate, it's part of you. Now, from that energy of continuation, before you open your eyes, keep your eyes closed. You actually know who Holy Spirit's going to pick that you want to extend love to. But after 2 breaths, I want you to open your eyes, pick one person on the computer screen, even if you don't see their face, and put Holy Spirit next to them. And now practice extending love from your Holy Spirit through this body, because there is no separation, to the person that you're staring at. And just see it cycling back. Keep doing that. From Holy Spirit into your dense physical body, to the person you chose, and then receive it back like an infinity step. And just do this for about 5 or 10 breaths. Don't forget, when you're sending it, you're also receiving it. So keep sending it out. A few more times. From Holy Spirit through your body to them. No distinction between me and Holy Spirit. There you go. There. Good. Pause and close your eyes. Whenever you're ready, open your eyes, take a breath. And what did you experience? Put into the chat box. What did you experience? What happened as you did that? What did you notice? What did you feel? What did you experience? Just a flow of energy cycling. Exactly, Presley. A hand on my shoulder. Beautiful, Nina. An energetic shift. Nice, Denise. Lots of energy flowing through my chest. Yes. Love. Oh, Jen. Peaceful connection and complete. I've felt like a channel flowing. The joy of giving brings expansion for the same. Exactly, Deborah, because it gets bigger. It gets bigger. Good. Interconnectedness. Nice, Judes. Yeah. If I could stop the call right now, that's why we're on the planet. We are here to extend, especially if you're in a workshop like this weird, wonky, crazy shit that I teach. If you are here, is because you signed up to do that. You didn't just like pull up and nothing wrong with beer. Trust me, I love beer. Have a beer, have a burger, throw in a call for what the F. Again, nothing beautiful. But you're here because this is part of your calling. This is why you're on the planet. This is why you have a body. You wouldn't be listening to this if this wasn't part of your soul path. Got it? So that's by definition an extension. And theoretically, you could do it all day, every day. If you didn't see yourself as a separate body, if you weren't constantly defending yourself, if you didn't have a need to be right and felt like, oh, no, it's not safe. My dad hurt me when I was little. It's fucking not safe. I got it. If you weren't doing that shit all day, you would do this. And you also wouldn't bypass. You'd be like, oh, that's no big deal. You would just, if something like trigger, you'd be like, oh, what is that trigger? Let me look at that. And you would just extend love. That's extension. Okay. Oh, did I just call you out, Haley? I didn't know I called you out. That's so funny. Okay, Haley wrote. I called her out. I guess. Okay, cool. Let's go back into so we just did the experience of extension. Now I try to have you experience extension because it's a natural feeling. Holy Spirit to you. Okay, we just did the chat box. Great. Okay, now what's projection? Projection is an ego defense mechanism. According to A Course in Miracles, because we feel an unconscious guilt because of a belief that we're separate from God, which is impossible, but we think or perceive that we're separate from God, that guilt feels like shit. It's intolerable. So instead of facing that guilt or facing the belief that I'm separate from God, we project all of the guilt outwards onto other people, all situations, and even the body. We project our shadows, our shame, our wounding onto others. Because if you felt, and it's really hard to, how do I describe it? Yeah, it's hard to believe how deep that guilt goes. And I've been studying the Course for years. You work through one layer, and oh my God, there's another layer. And oh my God, it's like there's so many layers of the subconscious guilt. And when I first learned that expression, that, okay, projection is as the idea that you're separate from God. Okay, well, I'm not separate from God. God's right here. Cool. But it wasn't just as simple as that to go through the layers. I'm never ending going through the layers of what is that guilt? What is that guilt? What am I projecting outward? Got it? So all projection outward of shame, wounding, judgment is all of this idea that we're disconnected from God. That is why we project outwards. And I know there's some comments coming to the chat box from you guys, which I love, but I'm not going to grab them right now. I am going to grab them at the end. Cool? Because I really want to stay with the material. And we will grab your comments at the end. So projection is just us believing that I'm separate from the divine, layer, billions of layers. And because that's so fucking intolerable, and I'm not willing to look at it, it's the only reason eyes see a problem. And whoever unmuted themselves, please mute yourself. As soon as I'm looking at another person as a separate body and I label them with anything, it's always one of these layers. Got it? So we project our shadows, our shame, and our wounding onto others. It's really that simple. Okay? And it's simple, yet it's hard. It's hard because we do it all day, every day. We go into the mind and say, I'm not going to do that. Makes sense to me. I'm not going to do that. But it doesn't work that way. Because all of our healing is feeling the pain and being honest with ourselves as to what we're experiencing. Because sometimes it's our shadows, sometimes it's mother's shadows, sometimes it's society, but we have to be honest. Because theoretically, this stuff is so easy. Okay, completely makes sense. Then why is it hard to apply? Because the ego goes, nope, not doing that. So the ego always says, it's not my fault. The problem's out there. So just a hands up. How many of us do that? It's them, it's them, it's them, it's them, it's them. Yeah, we all do it. We all do it. We need honesty, and that's the ego's best friend. And blame and judgment comes exactly from that. All blame, all judgment, all attack thoughts. We make others our enemies and the cause of our suffering, when in truth, the conflict is in our own mind. Projection keeps that guilt of us feeling separate from God hidden and unhealed. Because what the ego says, if Holy Spirit knows that if I extend love, I'm increasing it. The ego doesn't know that. The ego says, if I get rid of this and put this on somebody else, then I don't have to worry about it again. But that's not true. As soon as I give it out, it comes right back to me. So the ego doesn't know that part. But projection is the same extension. So extension is from Holy Spirit. Projection is from the ego. But the ego thinks if I give it on to Deb, it's gone. But that's not true. It just comes right back. Got it? But it's always getting rid of unhealed guilt and shame. Make sense? That's projection. And it's the source of all blame, all judgment. And the funniest thing is, we are so convinced that we are right. We create Google chat groups. And I said this in yesterday's call. That's what high school is all about. We have like the cool groups, the nerds, the kids just don't fit in with anything, the jocks. All of those groups are to keep those projections alive. Got it? So if you guys remember, here in Canada, in BC, I should say, I think high school starts at grade 8, if I remember correctly. So just developmentally wise, grade 5, 6, 7 is when you're discovering some of your interests that are different than grade 2 and 3. They all kind of hang out together more or less. They can go between groups pretty easily. Grade 3 and 4, that starts to shift. If you don't have kids, this will help you to understand how this works for the brain. So grade 3 and 4 starts to shift, which is 8, 9, 10. And that's when you're like, okay, well, I really like science. Well, I like sports. And that's why right before you enter high school, you're kind of starting to define who you are. I'm the jock, I'm the nerd, I'm the whatever. And you don't even know you're defining it. Then you get to high school and you get all these cliques going on now. Got it? And it's because you're no longer in grade 2 or grade 1 anymore. We're just an extension. You're now defining who you are to keep yourself separate from the group. Make sense? And because that's so loud in I'm gonna stop share for a sec so I can see your guys' faces. Because that's so loud, got it? When we're in grade 4, 5, 6, we're trying to define who we are. We're no longer just these cute little kids sending out love. We're now trying to find who I am away from the group. Okay. And this is why in high school, you get all the gossip queens going on. It happens in grade 6, 7, 8, but it usually doesn't happen in grade 2 and 3. Got it? So this is just for your brains to understand. So when you now are an adult and you've decided that all men who eat chocolate ice cream suck, and you go online to find all men who eat chocolate ice cream suck group, and you'll find it. because I'm sure it exists. Because you're busy going back to high school to find your clique who agree with you. And so judgment and projection, for those of you who have kids, gets really loud at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And now you're an adult and you're out there doing the exact same thing over and over and over and over again. And just so y'all know, I see it all the time in my workshops. I see it all the time in my retreats. I see it all the time in the classes I teach. Okay. It's a normal part of human development. Because especially those of you who have like little 5 and 6-year-olds running around, it's not like they don't need to separate and individuate, but they're just more like love bombs. They're like extending love all the time. Now they're 9, 10, 11 years old. They're trying to define themselves as separate from the cliques because they're a body now. And then you go to high school and then you're projecting all the time. Kind of makes sense. That's why we have separate groups. Is this, I've got you guys, still haven't lost you? Making sense? Kind of cool. Okay, good. So now as an adult, the reason what the ego does is tries to find proof for your pain. So the reason I'm spending some time on this is if you end up like a gossip queen or you end up trying to prove it to somebody else, you are 100% in the ego, and the ego is going to convince you you're right. But Divi, if you only knew this costs so much, if you only knew the pain I feel, if you only knew, and that's always the ego. What does Spirit say? Tune into Spirit right now. Spirit only speaks love. Only. Only. And the reason you have these buggers who come across your life, these pain points, is to heal those projections you did, those judgments you put on yourself from when you were a little kid, because that's who you're going to deposit on. And that's why the pain continues until you pull those back, which is what we're going to get into. All right. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about this topic. Had such a long slideshow today. Okay. So we are convinced we're right because our perception says it's right. And then we form groups to tell us that, and we tell ourselves we're right. And that's just how it works. And God knows we're right, right? Okay. So, and each of these create pain, and each of these create judgments, and it's about healing ourselves. And all of those judgments keep us separate from God. Each of those judgments keep us separate from the divine. So, pause. What have you learned so far? What have you learned so far? But also, bigger question. No, this question is a bit different. Sorry. In the chat box, don't tell me what you've learned so far. In the chat box, who do you project on and what do you say? And this question should be really, really easy. So anyone who drives you nuts in the world, and why do they drive you nuts? You could write Elon Musk because his cars are awful. I don't care what you write. Put it in the chat box. I hate men who are not loyal. Okay, Haley, this is so good. That means somewhere in the ego thought system, stay with me, Haley, stay with me, because you're advanced, Haley, so I'm going to push you, and I can spend the weekend with you. Somewhere in your thought system, your safety depends on you've outsourced your safety to them. I'm jumping to the end of the call. So sorry, Haley. Okay, good. She gets it. Amazing. Because I'm going through a 5-step process at the end to teach you how to pull these projection backs. Nina writes, I feel jealous of colleagues who I feel have made it. And Nina, if you look at my post that I put up the other day, I outed myself on it. Happens to me too. But I had to out myself on it, right? And so totally got it. Okay, good. Presley wrote my husband because I feel like I need to prove myself and my intentions. And Presley, that's because you're constantly looking for that worthiness. So you've disconnected from the God self, right? Because the God self doesn't need to prove herself, right? So you can see that split. Good girl, good. Nina wrote, I did, and it felt resonated. Amazing. I'm glad that helped Nina. Emmy wrote, I project onto people who are violent and don't care about the well-being of others. I love you, Emmy. I project onto people stuck in their pain and depression. I love that, Emmy, because like you know, right? Because you're convinced that there's a body. So that ego is like, oh God, I got to protect the world, right? So you see what you're doing. Nina wrote, she projects on her husband. I feel like I'm constantly proving that I use my time wisely and that my profession is changing the world. And that's a way for you to deal with your shame, right? You see that, Nina, right? Good. Anyone else you project on? Let's give you guys another minute. Who else? Someone else you to project on? Give you guys one more minute to type it. Because it's kind of fun to out yourself. Out yourself on what the hell you do. What does your mind do? I'll give you guys one more minute. They're saying to give them another minute. One more minute. Who else? What else do you project on? Emmy writes, I project on the I know, I don't know how to pronounce it. I know the word you're saying. And the billionaires. Way to go, Emmy. Way to go. Presley projects on her kids. We're screaming. I project on my dad. I feel like he didn't protect me enough because that keeps the weakling story alive, JJ. It's so good. So good. So good. You guys are so good. Okay, amazing. Deborah, I project on my kids as I think I'm a good mom and Nana, so you should tell me I am. So good. I project on strangers. I know what's wrong with you. Oh, so good. Good, Linda. Good calling yourself out. This is how you're going to grow. I have been founding because I've been living Wounds to Wisdom. I was jokingly sharing that I was in a shame storm yesterday. And I ended the night crying to my husband about how much I love him and how sometimes I'm a really shitty wife, right? Because I saw some shame pieces of myself. A personal share: when I got married both times, for my first husband, my mom didn't talk to me for 2 years that we were engaged. Second husband, my mom didn't talk to me for 6 months. It's her way of shaming me for marrying somebody not Indian. So I didn't realize that I had that stuck back there, and I didn't realize that I was putting that on him. And because I'm living Wounds to Wisdom right now, I'm like, and I saw it, and I was like, oh. And it's really interesting, the stuff that is planted into your brain from when you're little that you put on your partners, right? Because I was trained that you have to marry somebody brown that's going to support you financially. And so when I was really unlayering that, it was like, oh, where this wall comes up is that story in my head. I've been teaching this work for a gazillion years. Why did it take me so long to realize that? Because I didn't want to look at the shame. Can it make sense? When I put myself out there, I'm going to teach the Wounds to Wisdom class, I knew I was going to have a doozy. I knew I was going to have a doozy of a month or two, and that's what I've been doing. So, because it puts you into blender to look at what in you has not been healed. Because I've said this so many times before, the ego does not want to find itself, so it'll do this. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Until you go, you know what? I want to look at this. So that's a personal share, and it will keep happening until you kind of surrender and say, I'm willing to look at all parts of myself. Let's go a bit deeper here. So that's projection. Thank you for your shares. It's so good, so good, so good. Okay, perception. Perception is how we interpret or see the world. In A Course in Miracles, perception is not reality. It's a mirror to our internal states. And there's two types of perception. There's ego-based perception, which is rooted in fear and separation. We see a world of attack and difference and lack, and this perception reinforces suffering because it's based on the belief that we're separate from God. So Haley, I'm going to use your example because I know Haley and she's on the call. I don't think she'll mind me using it. I'm not going to share anything personal, but she shared in the thing that she has a projection. She projects onto men who aren't I think she used the word, and feel free to unmute yourself, Haley, if you want, who aren't faithful. I think that's what she wrote. And so, loyal. And that means, thank you, Haley. And if you want to mute yourself, feel free to. And so she's perceiving men that are not loyal. This is she's perceiving them because the ego-based perception, there's got to be something in her, which is rooted in lack or separation. You guys are with me, right? So she's rooted in lack. So she's put onto them that they have to feel loyal for her safety. So Emmy, I'm just opening up. What if you projected onto these ego-based perception on these millionaires because you saw something wrong, perhaps with your own childhood and what you experienced, and then you put it out there? So the idea of ego-based perceptions, I would never say it's challenging, but it's challenging to see because we have to own on to something that's in your psyche. So I realized last night after my shame storm yesterday that I've been projecting what I was taught when I was 8 years old about what men are supposed to do for you and the shame of not marrying somebody who would financially support me because of what I was taught. And I realized that's why I sometimes have this gap with my husband. I have like, aha moment. And it's like, and because I sat in a shame storm all day yesterday. And it was like, wow. So we take the ego and we look out there. Now there's another way to perceive. And this is the craziest shit. There's another way to perceive. This is the other way to perceive. Holy Spirit's perception. This is the healed way of seeing. And when guided through forgiveness, love, and unity, we undo the projection. And I'll take you through the steps in a second that remember our shared innocence. So when I actually did this yesterday with my husband, and I actually sat in my own mind, he didn't know what I was doing. He still doesn't know, which is fine. It's not that he just, he asked me if I was okay. I'm like, I'm okay today. I went through the steps. I'm going to take you guys through this in a second. I realized, oh, The reason I married him was because he was the only man I met who would give me the space to do my crazy spiritual journey that I knew I was going to go on, deeper than I already was at that point. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, perfect person to marry. But I couldn't get there if I didn't do the steps I'm going to take you through today. Got it? So hope that made sense. Okay. All right. So yeah, and like I didn't read all of Emmy's comment. Projections are not that easy to see, which is why I'm teaching Wounds to Wisdom, because they're not always easy to see, because they hide like a mouse running around your house looking for cheese. They just hide. They hide. All right, let's go. I have a nice slide. Okay. On a knee jerk, it is easy, but it's hard to see our blind spots. Oh, Amy, you're on time with me. And the ego convinces you that it's true, and it doesn't want to find it. That's what we're going to do a process in a second to take us there. So projection makes perception. So how I perceive the world is how you perceive yourself, because there is no external world. So when Haley walks around not thinking that she's lacking, she will no longer perceive men that are not loyal. And that's the work. There is no external world. There's only you. So let's compare these for a second. Projection is rooted in the ego. Extension is in the spirit. Projection is rooted in fear, guilt, past, separation, future. Extension is about the now, love, oneness, and truth. The function of projection is to deny guilt and to blame others. The function of extension is to share love. The function or the outcome of the ego of projection is suffering and conflict and illusion. The outcome of extension is healing and unity and peace. The direction of the ego's projection is outward, attack. Extension is outward love. The purpose of projection is to reinforce the false self or the ego. The purpose of extension is to express your true divine self. Okay, that was a lot. So what'd you guys learn? Use the chat box. What'd you learn? What'd you guys learn so far? I'll give you guys a minute to type in. What did you learn? Don't write that there's no hope. I'm joking. What did you guys learn so far? I project all the time. Yes, Nina, I love it. Because if you're not extending, you're projecting. You got it. You got it. You got it. Yes. I love that. What else have you learned? If you're not hanging with Holy Spirit more during the day, you're in projection. Nina, bang on. Anything else you guys learned? Haley wrote, I need to break the habit of outsourcing safety, freedom, and find it within myself and spirit. Exactly. Hanging out with the Holy Spirit all the time, Haley. So good. You guys are so on. I wasn't sure if you were getting it, but obviously you guys are. Projection is the ego. Beliefs and extension is hard as fuck. Oh my God, Presley, you're so funny and I love you. And you are so right. But it's not from you. It's from Holy Spirit, which means you have to have that relationship with Holy Spirit. So good, Presley. So good. What else have you learned? I learned that nothing is worth losing your sense of inner peace. So good, Emmy. Nothing is worth it. Nothing. 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 No, what I just do. No millionaire down the road. No, nothing. Nothing is worth losing inner peace. And what the course is all about, the course is a text on inner peace. The course is a text on finding stillness and calm. The course is a text on finding peace within yourself. That's what this text is. And if you do, that's where miracles occur. Got it? Let us go into the process. I think it's 6 or 7 steps. Like I said, it's a long one today. So if you guys can stay, I should be done this in the hour. Should. And then I'll put the Q&A at the end, because I knew there were some questions that came in. So, okay, healing projection stepwise. Okay, and I love how that made it the mind. That was so cool. Okay, so today, if you're open to it, we're going to work on the projection of shame. You don't have to. You can work on a different one, but I wrote it out like we're working on shame, but if you want to choose a different one, go for it. Let's have some fun after my shame storm yesterday and work with the emotion of shame, because we've all had shame. Cool? For me, it actually shows up as a shame storm. Shame is the thought that I am wrong. Okay? I am wrong. Guilt is I've done something wrong. That's simple. But shame is the idea of that you're deeply wrong in some way. Okay. So pick an area in your life that you feel any judgment or shame or any wrong energy in your life. Pick an area right now as I go through this process with you. So pick an area that you want to work on. First one that's going to pop into your head. Just pick it. Okay. And now the first thing you do, and this is like a 7-step process. So wait, before I go there, close your eyes. Let's make this real. Pick the person that you judge, blame on all the time. So I think, Nina, you're going to pick your husband. Emma, you're going to pick the billionaires of the world. Haley, you're going to pick that person who wasn't loyal to you. Just pick that person right now in your mind's eye. So I had you share, so you could have somebody. Pick that person. Close your eyes. That you have judgment, fear, anger, shame, that they've done something wrong. Pick them. Good. Close your eyes. With your eyes closed, notice what you're feeling and label the feeling. Write it down. Write it on your journal. What are you feeling? Are you feeling embarrassment? Are you feeling guilt? Are you feeling unworthiness? Are you feeling shame? And Haley, if you don't mind, I'm going to use my guinea pig, sweetie. Put it into the chat box. Okay. Anger. Great. Anger. Good. Good, good, good. Haley, I'm going to use you, okay? So, Haley, are you feeling anger? I'm assuming you are. Name the feeling, anger. Okay, good. She's with me. I just need one practice for it, but you guys are all going to do this in all Q&A. So she's feeling anger. Amazing. Now we'll go to step 2. Go to the feeling. Step 2. Recognize it. Okay. All anger is self-anger. There's no outer world. There's no inner world. So anger inwards is shame. Haley, let me know if that's landing. I mean, I know you put anger too. Okay, it's landing. Good, good, good. Good, good, good. Amazing. So recognize the emotion and notice if you're judging yourself, judging somebody else, that you're secretly judging yourself. Got it? Do I need to prove this? Do I need to defend it? So remember, step 1 is to pause and recognize the emotion. Now, oh, did I miss a slide in here? Sorry, 1 second, guys. For step 2. Oh, no. Just 1 second. Sorry, guys. Okay. Pick an area. Okay, we did that one. Okay, we'll just go to step 2. I guess I didn't label it. Step 2 is to recognize the emotion and just be with the emotion. Recognize the judgment and don't try to defend it. Don't try to prove it. Just be with it. Step 3, this is the most important step, is to pivot. So close your eyes, Haley, and say, I want to see this differently. Everybody close your eyes. I want to see this differently. I want to see this differently. I want to see this differently. Eyes closed, pivot, and say, Holy Spirit, I'm ready to see this differently. And notice what starts to happen. Notice what starts to happen. Just be open to a shift. Be open to it and keep breathing. And everyone in the chat box, notice what's happening in your body. Invite Holy Spirit and say, I want to see this differently. And keep breathing. You have to know that you do not heal alone. It's with Holy Spirit. After you connect to Holy Spirit, use the chat box and write in what you noticed. I'm going to pause there for a sec. What did you notice once we pivoted out of what the emotion was, letting Holy Spirit in and say, I want to see this different. I want the willingness to let love in. What did you notice? And use the chat box, guys. What did you notice? Haley wrote, I'm being shown that those unloyal men are also me. We are the same spirit. Exactly, Haley. So that whole idea of inviting Holy Spirit in is that Holy Spirit will show you a shift. Presley wrote, my head touched straight to the sky and I felt lighter because we're surrendering. We're not trying to figure out with the mind. A lot of people who approach this type of work, especially when you move more to Course in Miracles, and all the intuitives I've trained in the past, they try to figure it out in their mind. Your mind is effing useless. Holy Spirit is your key. Look at the slide I've got down. I'm going to go to step 4, 5, 6 next, guys. The key is Holy Spirit is in your mind. And Holy Spirit knows the truth. And that's what you experience, Presley. That's what you experience, Haley. Got it? Let's go to the next step. So silently, work with Holy Spirit. Close your eyes. Say, Holy Spirit, I want to see myself differently. I want to see myself without the shame. I want to give this up because shame believes that I'm separate from you, but I've never been separate from you. Beautiful, beautiful. And notice what you're feeling. Stay there, guys, stay there. I'm going to go to the next step. Stay there. Breathe. Now, from this place you're in right now with your eyes closed, work with Holy Spirit and say, forgiveness. Forgive myself for believing I was bad or unworthy. Just allow that in. Forgive myself for believing that I need somebody else to make me whole. Forgiveness is recognizing that you were never hurt. Forgiveness is recognizing that you are as God created you, innocent and whole. You've never been separate. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. And now that you're here, the last step, with your eyes closed, feel your heart full. And from this place, Presley, extend love. You don't need to defend. You don't need to withdraw. You don't need to make yourself right. From here, you can extend. There you go. Good, good, good. Keep breathing. And when you're ready, if you haven't already, go to open your eyes. Let me know how that was. I'm curious how that was. And I've got a couple more slides. So I'm going to pause this for a second. And I'll see what you guys wrote in. Okay, I know Chuck, you wrote in something as well. Let me just read these comments that came in. Okay, we got some really good ones. I see that Emmy wrote something. Let me read. Chuck wrote something before that. Chuck wrote, just so you guys know, my computer is being really funny. It's doing this funny dance on me right now. Okay. Haley wrote, divine rivers are flowing. So nice, Haley. So nice. Chuck wrote, I flow of energy from my center to the earth. Good. Emmy wrote, I'm dying to read yours, Emmy. Emmy wrote, I focused on Elon Musk. So good. So good. And I saw a new perspective of it. Being a catalyst. Oh, so good, Emmy. So good. Being a catalyst for massive healing. So good. So good. Massive people choosing to disengage from bigger systems of capitalism and doing things differently. He's like a catalyst for people all over fighting up, lighting up and saying they want a new earth. Wow. So good. Deborah, I could let go and rest in Holy Spirit, calm with no blame and shame. Good. Presley wrote, when I began to surrender and see myself differently, I began to cry. Has sadness and surrender. I am done and ready. So good. Spirit is trying to find compassion for myself and no need to put myself and others on a pedestal. So good, Nina. So good. So good. You guys are getting it. Let me go back to the slideshow. We're almost done. Then I come to questions because I know there were a few that came in. So by the end of that, when you do the forgiveness, you're now extending love. Got it? Because you're strengthening. So when Deborah, you healed the blame or shame or whatever you wrote down, now you're extending the love. So if your kids don't invite you, let me heal that shame. Extend the love. Pause. I need 20 minutes. I have to go to the bathroom. Heal that part of me. Let me go through these 6 steps. Now it can come out. I'm looking for love from you, silly old me. I found that love. I forgave it. I have Holy Spirit. Let me extend it now. Night and day. Night and day. Because now you're going to get stronger inside yourself. So good. So good. So the light has come. I am not the shame. I am the light of the world. Declare your identity as spirit, not ego. Let go of the need to fix anything externally. The light has come and I have forgiven the world. That's lesson 75. And what starts to happen the more you do this, 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 you actually stop seeing yourself as a body. Not stop. You slow down. Because your only job is whatever spirit is asking you to do in that moment, which is to extend love. It's actually super simple. So I want to hear from you guys about how that was. And like I said earlier, I've been in a doozy of a blender for the last few months, weeks. And I can tell you Wins to Wisdom is going to be good. So let me just, I want to hear from you guys how this was, and then I'll talk about Wins to Wisdom before we wrap. How are you guys? How was that process? Tell me how you are. You guys already shared a lot in the chat box. How was that to move through that? I still have you guys. I haven't lost you. We're good? Okay. Very freeing. Yeah, Amy. Nice, Amy. Softer. Yeah. layers and layers and layers and layers. Okay, I'm going to talk about wounds to wisdom. I don't know. Hard. Yeah, Presley, it's only hard. A, because it might be a newer muscle. B, because it's something that, takes dedication and focus. And C, because the ego doesn't want it done. Okay, what did Presley write? Nina wrote, I need to hear it again and again and again. I feel more connected. Yeah, Nina, excuse my language. I can do this for a living. I was in a massive shame storm for 8 hours yesterday. Okay. My husband put me on my electric bike and was like, we're going for a bike ride. I'm like, but it's cold. Right. 30 kilometers later, we come home. He goes like, are you better? I'm like, a little. And I didn't want to admit to him I was much better because I want to be a chef. But it's like, it's like when we understand that we can understand this up here, but the application here is the more challenging part. Okay, I'll open up to Q&A in a second, but I want to tell you guys a little bit about wounds to wisdom before we open up to Q&A, since there's no questions screaming at me right now. Okay, wounds to wisdom starts in May. 8 weeks. It's an intimate group, 8 people. 2 hours a week. Let's heal this stuff. Okay. I didn't know what I was getting myself into when they told me to teach this. I had no idea that my life would go crazy. Well, I kind of knew, but I didn't know as much as it would, which tells me how great this class is going to be. That's all I can tell you. It is intense. Okay. What do we got here? Deborah wrote, it was like a fire hydrant, fast and full on, and the Holy Spirit is in me. So good. So good. The mind that Jesus says, yes, yes, yes. All right. Any questions? What's coming up for you guys? Questions? Anything coming up for you guys? I'm hot. How are you guys? Okay, we got Presley's hand is up. Any other questions? Just want to make sure before people. And Emmy, I just want to know if your question got answered. I know you put a question in when I was teaching at the beginning, but I'm assuming you got answered since your hand isn't up.
It kind of didn't, but I can wait.
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm going to start with her just because I have hers is more content, and I'll grab you, Presley. Go for it, Emmy. Do you want me to read your question, Emmy? Or do you want
No, I could just summarize it. So, basically, I was just saying, like, if you're in that state of love, of extension all the time, would you just like leave the planet because our purpose here is to like learn how to be in love? But if we're already in love, like, is there would or do some people exist in love all the time?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily leave the planet. You would be doing what you're here to do. That's why you came on the planet. You would be you would be doing God's will. This is of course miracles lingo. You'd be doing God's will, which is to be in connection with Holy Spirit all the time.
So
So
it's totally possible. It's
oh
possible to do that.
oh yeah, I mean look at somebody like the name Byron Katie. I'm not sure if you've heard the story of Byron Katie. So Byron Katie, I know you know who she is, Emmy. She obviously does this work, teaches this work for a living. She's the woman who talks about the 4 questions. Do you know it's true? Are you absolutely sure it's true? That woman. Anyways, she was held up to gunpoint one day in the States. And because she's constantly connected to Holy Spirit, that's what she does all day. This guy held her up to gunpoint, give me your gun, give me your money. Well, the normal person's nervous system would go, ooh, but she's plugged in, Emmy. She's plugged in and she's still alive. And Holy Spirit came through her and looked at him and said, sweetheart, you don't want to do that. He dropped his gun and ran. Make sense? So the point of life is to be the extension of God. And the theory, and Emmy, I know you know this more than most people on the call. If anyone's read that book, Power versus Force by David Hawkins, he talks about, let's just say there's a million people on the planet and a million people on the planet and the planet is shit. And I'm joking when I say that. Let's just jokingly say that. And everybody's in guilt and fear and anger. It doesn't take 500,000, but half yet. It doesn't take 500,000 to shift the guilt and shame and crap that we're going through. It only takes a pivotal, very small percent, let's say 10,000, to shift it. Because if 10,000 would live more in love, it would shift a million. Does that make sense, Emmy? So if
Yeah,
we
that makes sense. Yeah.
actually more and more of a step up, step up, step up, step up. And I'm personally convinced that's why the planet hasn't exploded, because we have enough nuclear arms to kill ourselves 100 times over. Why haven't we? Because the ones of us who are doing the work, which is everybody on the call, if for 1 second you extended love, yes, yes, that's our work. And so if we're doing it more and more often, then we're willing to show up as the catalyst of the world. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Emmy. And before I grab you, Presley, can I tell you more about Wounds to Wisdom? Yes, I will. Um, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Deborah, for what you wrote. Deborah wrote, I'm amazing. I'll take that. I'll give that to my Holy Spirit. There's so much that you gave us. So good. What a gift. Thank you. I will have the replay shortly. Holy Spirit within you. And ideally, that's how you start to live your life every day. So Wounds to Wisdom, I'll tell you about that before I grab to Presley. So what I can tell you about is it starts in May. And I'm sure, Nina, you're asking when, what, how, where. What we're doing is we're taking the applications. If you go to the website page, which I will pull up right now, I'll put on the link right now. If you go to the website page, you'll see an application. You put the application in, and then we're sending you guys emails, finding out, times and dates you want the classes. And then we're creating groups of 8 people. And and so basically during the 8 weeks, you know how I work, it's all spirit led. We'll be doing these topics and much, much more in the 8 weeks. And what can I tell you about it? It's all going to be led by Course in Miracles. Wrong link. That's the wrong link. It's all going to be Course in Miracles based and led. I know you're asking for more, but I don't really have a lot more. It's all going to be Course in Miracles led and based and deeply getting into your subconscious and the thoughts you're thinking. And just like in the last 4 calls, I've led you guys through different processes. During the 8 weeks, we'll probably do 16 or 20 different processes to unroot, to unravel. The other reason I'm keeping it at 8 people too is because we're meant to trigger each other. So let's say, Nina, you join. Let's say Presley joins, or just because you guys are on the call, Linda joins. Then you're like, oh, Linda reminds me of my mother. Amazing. Something to heal there. And it's really, Nina, about getting out of the pain stories and like living it and being it in a smaller group, which is then going to take us deeper. So I don't know if that answers your question, Nina. And I just put the link in for the class, put an application in, and we'll, all I know is my guys told me to do this about 2 months ago. And I have been living it for the last 2 months. So that's what I know. And I'll also be getting you guys to be practicing A Course in Miracles. I won't make you guys do all the lessons because I have 8 weeks for you guys, but I'll pull the most important ones out. And for example, one that I get you to do, Nina, a lot of is that one about I'm putting a lot of importance in everything. That one of my mind is creating stories. That's one thing I'm going to get you guys to do, but also use the reminder app of ACIM on your phone. You're going to be reminded all the time about what to do. So let me know, Nina, in the chat box if that answered your question. I hope it did. Yes, Preston, let's start with you.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm in a bomb right now.
Did
you read my message today?
No. Do you have any idea what my day was today?
Oh my God, this is a fucking insane day.
I'm hoping you show up here, so I didn't have to read your call. That's why I wouldn't have to. That's why I could address it this way, because you know how hard it is for me to address by text, right?
Oh yeah. Okay, so you got it.
I did see that something came through, but I didn't read it.
Okay.
So you don't know how many texts on my phone that I haven't responded. Go ahead.
The bomb was earlier today. Coulter had come up to me and said that he found some old messages between him and this woman.
Okay.
And then he was kind of hesitant, and I'm like, okay, cool. That's great, because he said he deleted everything and I want to see them. But then he was like, no. And I was like, whoa, why won't you show me them? And he was kind of scrolling through them, and I seen my name in it, and I'm like, whoa, stop, show me it. And he was like, no. And he ripped the phone away from me, and it kind of started to explode. And I'm like, why won't you show me this message? What are you hiding?
I'm gonna pause you for a second. Pause.
Yeah.
Pause. I might interrupt you a few times, okay?
No, that's great.
He kept saying, tell her, stop, tell her. So now rewind.
Okay.
That you learned everything today. Step outside of yourself and observe yourself for a minute, Presley. And this is going to help Haley too. They're telling me. Go to the thought, I want to see them. Go there. Don't think. What in you, what were you trying to defend that needed to see them? Don't think, please. Please don't think.
If he actually loved her.
If he actually loved her or left her?
Yeah, loved her.
And what would that give you if you found out? Breathe.
It would give me evidence that this is true. That the thoughts in my head are true.
And I'm looking for that evidence because what?
Because I'm not enough.
You fucking nailed it. Because you're looking for safety and a perceived safety. This world, baby girl, this world is not real. This is an illusion of the mind. If you want peace and happiness and joy, which is I know what you want, you think this wounded party. I'm going to just jump in. They're not letting me stop. The wounded party you think, and this is going to help a lot of people on the call. If this is culture. If culture shows up this way, then I am safe. You've outsourced. How many of us do that with our relationships? If he shows up without lipstick on his thing, then I'm safe. You've outsourced your safety. And this is the biggest, if you guys don't know, I'm writing a book on this, just so y'all know. It's just so exciting because I have so much time in my life. But it's all about outsourcing safety, Presley. Right? And you're outsourcing it, and you helped Haley just now. And that you have to pause and go, where did Holy Spirit leave me? And the ego came in.
Yes.
There's no winning in the ego's game. You're in a bomb right now because the shame in you is running the show of like, the shame is I'm not worthy. And then you're projecting on him, looking for him to tell you are worthy, only if you didn't love somebody else other than me. And the ego is going to argue with me. But Divi, we're married. Divi, we have kids. Divi, we have this. Divi, we have that. How's marriage working out in our society, baby girl? It's not. And the reason it's not working is because it's based on fear. But you can be married and based on love. Right. They're letting me stop. How are you? How are you right now?
Crazy. But it just escalated. It escalated, and it just kept going and going and going. And I'm like, he left and then came back, and I was like fuming. I'm like, if you are not going to show me those messages, don't fucking talk to me right now. Like, I'm fucking losing my mind. Like, back up. So, and then he kept saying, like, why do you want to see them? Why do you want to see them? And I was like, because I just want to fucking look at them. You said you would show me them if you had them, and now you have them and you're not fucking showing me them. So I felt like really like, you're lying to me. Everything that I fucking think is true. Like, there's something in these messages that are fucking true, and you won't show them to me. And he was like, I don't want to look at them. Like, I don't even know what's in there, and I don't want to show you them because I don't want to fucking look at them. Like, hey, just like go and read them, and then let me read them so that you feel okay with whatever is in there. Like, just say I'm sorry and just let me read them, and I'll fucking decide. I'll sit with it. I'll see it. And then, like, it's either going to tell me that all these thoughts are true, or it's going to be nothing. So he ended up letting me look at them, and it was not even worthy of this fucking insane blow up that I had, or that he had. And it was, so then it continued. So then I left. I felt fucked up. Like, I just felt like icky and weird about it. And he left, and I texted him. I'm like, hey, like, I'm feeling upset about and trying to process like how I reacted and what happened. And then he said that he's feeling really messed up too, and that I was manipulating him and abusing him in the way that I was talking to him, and that it's making him second guess everything now. So then I was like, what the fuck? Like, I took a ride. I went like down the highway like for an hour and back, trying to like get my shit together and like asking to see this differently. What did I do that, like, how can I see this differently? And it's still like he's saying that I was manipulating him and humiliating him, and like it sounds like he was projecting onto me, because I don't think I was manipulating him. I feel like I wasn't doing that, and I wanted to talk to him about it, but he just kept like, he thinks I was manipulating him. So I had to apologize for it, but I don't think that's what I was doing. And then I realized that I could have come from a place of love. Like, I could have been like, hey, I want to see these. And he was like, no. And I could have been like, okay, like, you now know that what I want from you right now. And you're going to, like, that's it. Like, I could have just left it at that, but I didn't. I allowed my like fears and my anxiety and my ego to come through. But he's all fucked up and thinks that I have this side of me that can be like her and manipulate him and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? That's not who I am. Like, how? Yeah, that's where I am.
Take a few breaths. You're doing amazing. And thank you for the question, because I think it'll help a lot of people to understand. I wrote a few things as you were talking. So basically that feeling which caused you to drive 2 hours today, that's technically what we call a shame storm. Like you're in it. Got it? And when you're in it, you're in it. Got it? And his okay, back up. Anytime we're in the ego fight, they're all fights of the ego.
Yeah.
Right. And nothing bad or wrong happened. You guys, Presley and her partner have been digging deep into this conversation for the last month or two. And they've been digging and digging and digging. I have a huge amount of respect for you both. Huge. Okay? Huge. Most couples don't do this. Okay. But you're digging into your subconscious. You're digging into your subconscious. And you're starting to see all the little thoughts like, okay, let me see that, which is what we're taught to do. Like what TV teaches us that. Like if you think he's having an affair, look at his phone. If you think he loves somebody, look at his, like we're taught to, because it's going to prove, because if he is doing it, I'll prove that I'm not worthy. See, that's my shame. And that's what I'm looking to prove, right? So really understanding that, that addiction, that is only creating pain. And our relationship so my relationship with my husband is my relationship with me. Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
We're doing this a lot in Wounds to Wisdom. My relationship with my husband is my relationship with me and Holy Spirit. If I'm being triggered, I've got to be willing to go, what is this in me? And we have to recognize that when culture was speaking back to, I don't know if I get that, trust her, that's his wounding from his childhood. And then it's triggering your wounding from your childhood of like, but if it doesn't work, what have I done wrong? Oh, you see what you guys are doing? You can't own his wounding, baby girl, like he can't own yours. All you can do is say, look, I was in a massive shame storm. I see, feel, know that I've been taught that I'm worthy if X, Y, Z, and I've put that on you our entire relationship. And me looking for the phone was looking for my worthiness, and I am so sorry. I know my worthiness is my job, and I know my job is to extend love, and I wasn't doing that. And because what's happening, for if you guys don't know, is when you start to move these pieces apart, it's called layers of ego death. And you're going through another layer of the ego death. Got it? And so the ego death can be not fun. And it might, just like if you, sorry for this gross analogy, but if you shot an animal, it would fight you. That's what's happening right now. I've never shot a raccoon. I've never shot anything from it. But they showed me shooting a raccoon. Not that I know what that looks like. But it's like they would fight, like they're gonna, jump at you, yell at you. That's what's going on right now.
Okay.
Him, it's not fair. So you got to just mend yourself together and go, okay, this, what you are in is a shame storm. And what am I feeling really shameful of is if he loves somebody else, then I'm not important. And I've had that as a marker, and I got to take that away. Yes, we're married. And I know that marriage contracts are fluid. And yes, I know I love him, but I'm not going to throw him out just because something happened. I've already decided that. But
yeah, and he's throwing that in my face. He's like, you're using my wounds against me. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, what I would say if he was on this call, I would say you both are, that's what wounds do, is they attack each other.
Yeah.
Do you get it? And so really it's about, they're showing pictures like a boxing rink. When you're in the boxing rink, you've got to step to your corners, and my husband and I are amazing at doing this for each other because we know it. So when I'm in my shame storm, he leaves me alone. When he's in his, I leave him alone. I'm there. I don't ignore him, but the last thing I do is this. I did before, it didn't work. And it's like, because he triggers me. So when he pulls away, I'm like, am I not lovable? And, and I used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
But I've realized all I have to do is like work on my shit. If I'm being triggered by him, I have to go into my corner of the boxing rink and lick my wounds and realize that what he's going through, I love him. Acknowledge him. And like yesterday when I was in it, he didn't ask me once, what's going on? He just let me pout.
It is that where he is too? Like, is he in the shame storm over here?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Okay. Because
100%.
I'm feeling like I've done something wrong now. Like it felt like he was turning this around on me and now it's all my fault. Like
Well,
now,
that's an ego protective mechanism. And you can't
okay.
argue that to them. You can't say, you're doing this. You have to just let it simmer. And the only thing you can do, baby, is to own your stuff. As a woman, if we go to a man and say, you're doing this, guess how they're going to go? They're going to give you the middle finger and walk away. And you could be right. You could be the best intuitive in the world. They don't want to hear it. And I do this for work. I cannot call my husband out on this stuff when we're in it. When we're not in it, we're just like out for a walk or whatever I could say. I will never say, hey, babe, when you did this, I thought that. I'll say, I'm starting to uncover this stuff about me. And he'll just listen. He'll go, I wonder if I've got that. And then he'll bring it up with me and we'll talk about it. But I don't ever point my finger. Because when I used to Presley, it was chaos. Tell me how this is feeling in your body right now.
It feels sad.
Yeah. Because you're just coming out of it. But the sadness is also because you're in it and you didn't do anything wrong. And I think there's a lot of self-judgment you do for yourself, honey. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want you to go to that statement from A Course in Miracles. I want you to just put this on repeat on an audio all night. I am as God created me. 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 So if your shadow's here, there's a time before that shadow occurred when you're whole. And that statement, I am as God created me, takes me to the time before that when I was whole. Right there.
Okay.
And I would just do it over and over again. We're in the corners of the boxing ring. We're not going to do box. We're not going to fight. I just need to collect myself, to find myself as whole. It's an extension. And when I go to talk to him, I'm not going to point fingers. I'm not going to label. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to tell him he's doing it to me. I'm just going to hold love for my little girl.
He's going to ask me if I was manipulating him. Well, can you see if I was doing that?
It's not, that's his shadow asking that question. Do you see that?
Okay.
There's not an answer there because your egos were fighting.
Okay.
That makes sense? Because I just don't want to say it to you this way. It's only the ego that thinks it can be manipulated. When you're an extension, there is no manipulation. You get the difference?
Okay.
She got that. She got it. And that comes solely from his childhood. I get that.
Okay.
You okay?
Okay, thank you.
Holding you and sending you so much love. Thank you for that share, Presley. So helpful for a lot of people. Thank you. I'm going to read what Haley wrote. Haley wrote, the stuff makes me spiral too because I'm addicted to meaning making. Yes, I know the meaning making. Me too, writes Kimber. So good. Haley wrote, the relationship I have with cheating men is the relationship I have with me. Fuck. Sorry. She wrote that, not me. So am I cheating on myself somehow? Maybe abandoning myself? Yes, you're abandoning yourself. Thank you, Haley. And you can't find yourself through, I'm going to find myself. Holy Spirit, welcome. Holy Spirit, come in. I can find, so stop chasing it outside. It's in me. And we get to hang out this weekend, so we will work on that more this weekend. Yay. Okay, cool. All right. Any comments, questions before I wrap? I hope to see some of you guys in Wounds to Wisdom. I'm going to do a wrap. No questions. Okay, cool. Close your eyes. Take 10 or 20 deep breaths. Breathe. Work with Holy Spirit. Work with the Divine Masters. Knowing that if there's a pull at all to something like Wounds to Wisdom or something else, follow that and notice if you're pulling back. Because remember, the ego does not want to be found, ever. Slow breath in, long breath out. Thanking the group for holding the space. I'm sending you guys so much love. And thank you so much for your honest shares and reflection. It's been so much fun. Awesome. I'll send you guys so much love. We'll send out the recording in the next few days. Have fun, guys. See you soon.